Is it counting us down?
It already did.
Oh, no, I missed it. I'm so sorry. I was just waiting. Welcome to the Word Nest. Welcome to the Word Nest, where stories take flight. I'm one of your hosts, Amelia, and I'm here with my co-host, Mariah, who has not drank any water today and needs to drink a glass when we finish this episode. So please, in the comments, tell her to drink water. In today's episode, we're going to be discussing the hot, newish romantasy genre and play a little game and talk about our own experiences within this space. So, let's get started.
Yay!
I have my water here, in case I get thirsty while we're filming.
I'm a slacker.
You're slacker.
I'm a dehydrated slacker.
Hydrate or dihydrate, Mariah.
Okay.
Alright, so, here, I'm gonna first express the familiarity I have with the romantasy genre, and it's gonna make me sound not like an expert, but that's what we're learning today. So, yeah, I watch a lot of summaries of romantasy. I know a lot about the space. We're going to a book con in, when are we going? August?
August, yep.
Yeah, in August. About romantasy, so it's a genre I'm very interested in. I love romance and I love fantasy, but I'm super picky about all of the above, so that's where I'm at. And so I'm going to try to explain to Mariah the genre of romantasy, and then we'll see what happens.
It's going to be interesting.
It sure is. And this is our inaugural episode, so, break the champagne against the boat, etc.
We're doing it.
We're doing it. We're talking about romantasy. So, I'll start here, too, with the definition.
Okay.
It's if you ask a bunch of different people don't seem to agree on a definition of it, which I think also is true of a lot of genres, especially new genres. Like, if you look at a genre like romance, it has, generally speaking, a clear path and definition. But if you look at any of the sort of like sub-genres, like I like a rom-com. What is a rom-com? It's not technically a genre.
Right.
But like it is, it's different, I think, from your like bodice ripper romances, and all of those things. And like, that's what I like. So romantasy to me is different from a fantasy romance, where it's just sort of a romance novel set in a fantasy world. That is my working definition of romantasy. I think there are a lot of other things about it, but that to me is the clearest definition. Is like, this is a romance novel, but instead of being set at a coffee shop, it's set on, like, Middle-earth. Not really Middle-earth. Sorry, Middle-earth.
We apologize, Middle-earth.
Although, I mean, like, there are some romances in Lord of the Rings. I think that, who did he model after his wife? I think it was Éowyn.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, she's the most beautiful woman ever, and she's my favorite character. So what I'm saying is, I don't know that I've just insulted Tolkien by saying Middle-earth. Anyway, go on.
But we understand
Yes.
the aspect of it. I guess I should maybe explain to everyone why you're explaining this to me. So Amelia and I have had many, many conversations about this. We have looped in other friends in the industry. I can, not understand this genre. And I think, well, we'll get into it. So that is why we decided to kind of frame the episode this way, because, Amelia has been doing more research in this space, getting more familiar with different writers, their kind of the structure of the genre, and it is just a big question mark to me. And I know in our first episode I did say that I read fantasy. That is true, but the kind of fantasy I read is not romantasy, and I think that is part of what has stuck to me. So, the way that I usually try and understand this genre is I'll be like, Amelia, is The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst romantasy? Because it is kind of that second world, right? It has romance in it as one of the major plot points, but it's not. It's cozy fantasy. And then I'm like, Okay, so here is a question for you, right?
Yes.
Along that same vein, is Emily Wilde a romantasy?
Okay, so I feel also like we should say that like Emily Wilde, I read the first book and became like instantly unhinged from reality. Like like I love Emily Wilde so much that I anxiously have not even read the third book, and that sounds counterintuitive, except to all you anxious people out there.
Yeah.
You understand why I haven't read the third book.
I have also not read the third book because I don't want there to be no more Emily Wilde
I know.
out there for me to read and anticipate.
But like Emily and Wendell love each other so okay, but like okay, wait, no, I don't even want to talk about Emily. I don't care. I love her. Like I love Emily. I'm not going to spoil the book, but she does a thing at the end of book 1 that is just like the funniest thing to me. I'm sure Mariah knows what I'm talking about.
Yes,
I do. She is amazing, but like Wendell loves her so much.
He is so down bad for that one.
I can't deal with it. So anyway, all that is to say, no, I don't think it's a romantasy because like I don't want to say that like Emily would just like throw Wendell into a river and leave, but like
maybe at the beginning of book 1 she absolutely would.
This isn't the Emily Wilde show though. Like I could just talk about how much Wendell loves Emily forever, but I'm not going to. But like you're so much. It's like I will say that I do turn off my editor brain when I read Emily Wilde because I've like heard people talk about some flaws that it has, and I'm like, no, they're not actually.
It's actually
it's
flawless.
Perfect. It's actually like when you think of there's like, I'm gonna sound either dumb or really smart. Plato ? Has like a theory of like the pinnacle of something, like the heavenly version of something, and like everything else is a copy. Like Emily Wilde is that book. Like that's the book, and then all other books are just wishing that they were that book.
So what is it about? Is it the plot? Is it the setting? Like what makes it not romantasy?
I think it's like the romance really isn't a focus. Like it is,
That's
but
true.
it also is not.
No,
like,
it's not Emily's focus.
No, it definitely isn't Emily's focus. And I'm like,
Emily's like, I guess I've fallen in love with you, but
Yeah.
like I'm here to do my business.
Yeah, she's like, shut up, Wendell. And Wendell's just like, and like if she wasn't that way though, like he wouldn't love her.
That's true.
Which
That
is like,
you're so right.
like, like if she was nicer to him, he would not be down for it.
Well, everybody's nicer to him.
That's true. Yeah, so that's why I think that one's not a romantasy, and I think like the reason it works to unhinge me from reality so much is that like even while not being a romance, you just feel Wendell yearning on the page. You feel
and
him
he's
yearning
not
so
even
hard.
like telling the story.
Yeah, and like Emily just doesn't even realize it.
Okay,
because of
this
the
is
neurodivergence.
Yes, this is a like little side note. Just while we're talking about Emily Wilde, so Amelia read it. She was like, somebody else read this, please. I need to talk about it. I was like, I volunteer. So I listened to the audiobook. And I just remember, like, so the audiobook narrator, 10 out of 10. Perfection. Like, if you guys are into audiobooks, I highly recommend listening to the Emily Wilde series. But at the beginning of the book, she's talking about Wendell. This is not a spoiler. This is literally, like, within the first chapter. She's, like, describing Wendell. And I was like, this is going to be like a horrible old man. Like a chauvinistic old man.
That's what I thought.
And he shows up in the story, and he is this like blonde god who is just like groveling at her feet. He loves her so much, and she's just like, ew, like rolling her eyes. And I'm like, Emily!
I thought he was going to be the crustiest old man. I was like, I don't want him to show up. I don't want to read a story about, like, a woman and a crusty old man mentor. Like, that's not what I came for. And then, surprise, it's Wendell. Also, his name is, like, Wendell Bamblebee, which is, like, a crusty old name.
And that's, like, She literally never mentions his age. It was just like the vibes that she was giving off. She was like, oh, Wendell. And I was like, oh, Wendell. And then he showed up and I was like, ma'am.
Also, like he isn't, like, even as an academic, he's like the opposite of crusty. Like, yeah, he's the worst.
Okay, back on topic.
Okay,
so romantasy.
So not a romantasy.
Here's my questions are just gonna be like bop bop bop. Like, we are on the like the what am I saying? Like ping pong tournament of my brain here.
Let's go. Let's ping pong.
Does a romantasy novel have to have explicit sex?
So, that's an interesting question you pose, because my example of the one romantasy that I've actually read does not.
That surprises me.
Yeah, and I do believe it's widely regarded as a romantasy. I'm sorry, one of my cats is just like, she's stalking the window. I'm deeply distracted by her, and I'm sorry. Yeah, so that is a question that I think is one that I assumed we would talk about, because the book that I have read is Divine Rivals. I'll talk about that later or now, I don't know, but
who wrote that?
I don't remember.
Oh, Rebecca Ross, right?
Oh, no, maybe? I do know that the author is maybe religious, and that's why it does not have explicit scenes in it.
Maybe it's not.
I don't think it is.
No, I think it is. 2023.
Maybe it is.
Letters of Enchantment #1.
That sounds correct, yeah.
The main character's name, Iris Winnow.
Yes.
Yes,
that is Divine Rivals.
Yes, Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross.
Yes, so I, spoiler alert, did not like it. Which really upset me, because I started out really liking it. And I'm like a picky bitch, so like I'll DNF for anything. But also, having been an editor for so long, I feel like I have a really good sense of if I'm gonna like something or not. And often by like page 10, I know. Like, I was reading Just for the Summer, I think, by Abby Jimenez, and I know this is an unpopular opinion, but I was ready to DNF it within like the first 5 pages. But I was going on a plane, so I read it. And
you're like, well, I'm gonna be trapped here anyway.
Yeah, I was trapped. For like 2 hours I was trapped. I read, I think, 80% of it, and then as soon as I landed and had Wi-Fi again, I could not bring myself to pick it back up. So, like, no offense to anyone. I just was really bored. Like, I think she does a really good job of writing trauma, but I was bored. I'm a picky bitch. So, I think Divine Rivals is a romantasy because it is set in a second world. There are fantasy elements, and it is mostly about the romance. However, I'm not 100% sure, because it's like, the magic is strange. Like, I don't know how much, I guess, like, that's a question, is like, how much magic does a fantasy have to have? So, like, they have these
that is a good question.
Yeah, so, like, they have these mysterious typewriters that mysteriously communicate with one another. That's like the plot. Okay. They're like you've got mailing each other. Okay. But with this like magic typewriter, because it's set in sort of like 1920s.
Oh, interesting.
Ish, yeah. Except not, because it's the second world.
Right.
And they both work for this newspaper, and they're like not enemies to lovers. I think a lot of people say enemies to lovers.
Well, I was gonna say it is listed as an enemies to lovers.
I would call it rivals to lovers.
Okay.
Which I think is, like, a fair term that we should be using more often, because, like, in a rom-com, and I think one of the YouTubers I watch, Lexi, a.k.a. Newly Nova, who everyone should watch, she's really funny, was saying, she said something about, like, how enemies to lovers in a rom-com doesn't work, because, like, you don't actually have a reason to be anyone's enemy, generally speaking, in, like, your workplace. Like, like, you might have a rival, and I think I like that term better. If you're not literally trying to stab each other, I don't think you're enemies.
I will say, I disagree for Emily Henry's book lovers, because if I had been on that disastrous first lunch meeting, I would have felt like, you are my enemy forthwith, and I will never work with you, and I will hate you with the core of my being.
But Emily Henry is just, like, really good at writing. Like,
oh, I mean, facts. I'm not going to fight you there.
Yeah, like, I think there's a lot of things that, in general, I'm like, well, I don't like that. And then Emily Henry does it, and I'm like, oh, well, I did like that. Like, I read Happy Place, and I think Happy Place is one of her best books. I think it's so well done. It's not my favorite because I did weep my way through it, and that was not really the vibe that I wanted at the time. I was like, oh, I'm reading a rom-com, and then I'm reading Happy Place, and I was like, this isn't a rom-com.
I will say, just because, like, I'm thinking about but not romantasy, sorry. I mean, we're talking about romantasy, but talking about romance is making me think of romance books I've read, and this particular trope. And it makes me think of Casey McQuiston's The Pairing, which I think that is, and can be considered kind of like an enemies to lovers, because they are exes who had, like, a messy, horrific breakup. And so, like, at the beginning... Oh, absolutely, yes.
Okay.
So at the beginning of the book, they are going, like, they both find themselves on this tour through, I think it's just Italy. It has been a hot minute since I read it, because I read the arc 9 months before the book came out. The book came out last year. But I think they're on a tour through Italy. But, like, they had always talked about going on this trip together. They were supposed to go on this trip together, and then they didn't because they had this horrific breakup. And then they're like, both of them separately are like, I'm just going to do it. Like, I'm just going to... And they rebooked the trip. Lo and behold, they're on the trip together.
Aww.
So in that instance, I would classify it as enemies because, like, if you've ever had a bad breakup, you can definitely feel like enemies.
I do feel like there are certainly, so, like, and this is something I say a lot as an editor, is like, I almost never give a definitive answer to anything because I'm like, there's exceptions.
Yeah.
You
absolutely.
do that. Like, people would get really mad at me. They'd be like, well, tell me what to do, and I'd be like, I can't. I can only advise you.
I won't.
But I think, like, but, like, Emily Henry writes something and I'm like, that's fine. Like, I didn't notice that Happy Place was a miscommunication trope because she did it so well.
Oh yeah,
and, like,
absolutely.
The whole thing about a trope is, like, I shouldn't notice it there. Like, I should have to think later and be like, was there a trope in this? Does that make sense?
Yes.
You know what I mean by that?
Sorry, everyone. I just had a thought. I think I have read a romantasy. Stars above. I have.
What book?
In 2020, I read Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahurin.
I think that is a romantasy.
It is, according to the internet. So,
okay, but wait, okay, so I have a bone to pick with you about that book.
Oh, okay. Do it.
Because you told me all about it. It was not your favorite book.
No.
But you did not tell me. I learned this from watching with Cindy, who, again, really funny. You didn't tell me about Big Titty Liddy.
I don't remember.
That's the only thing I know about the book, is that they all win by singing this bawdy song called Big Titty Liddy.
Oh, yeah. I remember Big Titty Liddy. Okay, yeah, like, I have a lot of issues with that book. But it is a romantasy, and it is an enemies to lovers. Enemies, not rivals.
Well, and they're like real enemies, right? Like,
yes,
they're
because
like sworn to kill one another.
Yes, she is a witch, and he is a part of the, like, let's call it the establishment. I don't really like the.
He's like a witch hunter, right?
Yes. So, in that book's world building, there's like a church. And the church is, like, the rulers. They do all of the governing, like, they are the officials. Everyone goes to church, like, it's a big thing, their religion. And they hunt and kill witches. But for, like, the premise of the novel, which, again, it's not a spoiler, it literally happens, like, it's the inciting incident. She gets caught, but for some reason they can't kill her because of, like, a political thing, so they make him marry her. To to show that she's, like, converted or whatever. So it is, like, a forced marriage, and then he's like, oh, I hate you, but you're so sexy. And, like, that's
like my least favorite thing.
The whole book was kind of my least favorite thing, but something that, like, going back to my original question, like, does a book have to be spicy? So that's a YA book. But I was, like, shocked at how explicit some of the sex was.
Well, and, like, I think there's this strange new phenomenon, if you will, of, like, YA books actually being for adults.
Yeah.
But what they should be is new adult, but when new adult was, like, a genre that people were trying to get started, it just didn't work. But it's, like, here. We got them. But they list them as YA instead.
Well, and
I believe A Court of Thorns and Roses is technically YA.
Yeah, I would say so. I did not make it very far in that book.
That has explicit sex in it as well.
Does it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, I did not make it very far. Okay, so ACOTAR is not YA.
Oh.
So it says...
I thought it definitely used to be.
It says, yes, despite being published in the YA market initially.
Oh, interesting.
So she's 19.
Yeah.
So it has been reclassified as new adult. And this is something that listeners, you will probably hear us talk about a lot, is the way that, like, genre lines shift and the way that publishing interacts with marketing often also shifts.
Yes.
So, like, when I was reading ACOTAR, again, I've only read a bit of the first book, she felt very young to me. So I can kind of see how, like, from an editorial standpoint, they were trying to position it and market it for a younger audience, even though the character was 19. I can definitely see that maybe marketing struggle that was going on there.
And I would say, do you know when ACOTAR was published?
2015.
Oh, wow. Because I would say ACOTAR is potentially, like, the start of the romantasy and new adult genre. And, like, I don't have hard evidence to back this up except, like, knowledge and vibes. But I think, to my
knowledge
mind...
and vibe away.
Yeah, I think, to my mind, that was really the start of the romantasy genre. And, like, I do actually think that is a question, is ACOTAR a romantasy? Because it's very much a fantasy novel as well.
And this is, okay, going back to my initial, like, struggle with this, is Holly Black's The Cruel Prince, is that a romantasy?
I don't think so. But I also have never read it. So I've never read The Coral Prince, and all I know about it is, like, doesn't he have a rat tail?
He does not have a rat tail. I mean, he has a tail.
Isn't he a rat?
He's not a rat. He's a fae. He's a fae.
But isn't he a fae with a rat tail?
He has a tail, but I like, really don't think it's a rat tail.
I thought it was a rat tail.
Oh my god. I had to Google it. The Cruel Prince rat tail. This is like a thing. No, he does not have a rat tail.
Okay.
It is a tail that has hair on it.
Ew. So it's like a hairy rat tail?
It's not a rat tail. A rat tail doesn't have any hair on it.
I know. Actually, though, I did read a romance novel that I loved. And I don't think this counts as a romantasy, even though it's, like, definitely a fantasy romance. But it's set in Victorian era, so it's like a fae, whatever. It's the Witchwood knot, and he has a rat tail.
Okay, well,
I don't care.
Carden does not have a rat tail. And, like, listeners, back me up.
I believe you.
When you were reading, did you envision Carden having a friggin' rat tail? No.
Well, okay,
the answer is no. Okay, but wait. I Googled it.
Who am I thinking of then?
I don't know.
Readers, who has a rat tail?
Who is the rat tail man?
Someone has a rat tail. I'm telling you. I didn't make this up.
Who is the rat tail man? Okay, so Google has given me an answer to my question. No, The Cruel Prince by Holly Black is not considered a romantasy book because while it features a romantic subplot, which, like, debatable, to me, like, them falling in love is, like, maybe my issue is I was reading it for, like, they had such chemistry, but it says it is a young adult fantasy that emphasizes political intrigue, character development, and world building, which... Does that mean that romantasy does not emphasize world building and character development?
So, okay, that's actually, something that I wanted to bring up, and you segued into it really well, is that I do kind of feel like a lot of times, like, whether something is a romantasy or a fantasy is classified by, like, whether or not the world building holds up, which I don't think is fair. I think a romantasy should be allowed to have good world building, and I think...
Yeah, and, like, fantasy should be allowed to have, like, very soft, loosey-goosey world building.
Yeah, and I think, I'm trying to articulate. So, I think fantasy is allowed to have very soft, loosey-goosey world building. But it doesn't always have, like, the romance. I think because fantasy can be about so many different things, whereas, like, a romantasy has to be about the romance. There's, like, a lot more sort of... Whatever you're doing, I can hear it very loudly. I just didn't know that. That's okay.
I was scribbling.
I could tell.
I'm ADHD. Drawing a random shape.
So, like, I'm trying to think of a loosey-goosey fantasy novel that I read, but honestly, like, here's the thing that I like to think of when I am reading or editing fantasy is, like, I'm dumb. I'm not, like, really intense about world building. Like, I'm dumb. It's easy to fool me. So if you haven't fooled me, like, you didn't do a good job. I'm very easy to fool, I think. But, like, so I can't think of any fantasy novels that I actually finished reading where I thought the world building was, like, soft and loosey-goosey. So, also, I guess Divine Rivals kind of had that, but, like, again, I'm willing to go along with things if they make enough sense. And, like, if there's something else that I'm interested in. So, like, the chemistry at the beginning of Divine Rivals was so good. Like, I loved it. I was into it. It was good. I'm gonna try not to do any spoilers, but I'm gonna have to a little bit.
Here's your warning, listeners.
Here's your warning.
Spoilers ahead.
I'm gonna raise my hand while I'm talking about it, so that, now I completely forgot what I was going to say. More spoilers. So yeah, once they get together, like, and not even once they get together, like, when they're about to get together, they like flip. Like, she's very competent. She's very, grew up in a poor family, had to do a lot of things herself, very competent. He's like a spoiled little rich boy. And then suddenly they're like, she's like, oh no, what do I do? And he's like, this is what you do. And I'm like, why do you know anything?
Yeah.
Go be an idiot. So that happened. My spoilers are done now.
Okay.
And I felt a lot, so yeah, there does seem to be a trend of, like when I say ACOTAR is not a romantasy because it actually does a lot of good world building, I think that's not fair of me to say. Whereas, like, a lot of other popular romantases have, like, a lot of question marks. Like, there's, when we do our romantasy game, there's one where I've trimmed the summaries for you because I didn't want to read entire back cover blurbs, but, like, there was one where I'm, like, reading the summary and I was like, well, it already doesn't make sense to me. But, like, it doesn't matter because that's not, I mean, it does matter. It's just tricky, man. Like, what are you reading for, I guess, is the question. And I think a lot of, like, the people who are in line with my tastes are reading and they want a world that holds up under a microscope. It's like, okay, I watched a movie. You know the movie. I'm not going to say it out loud. I watched it for a fan fiction. And I had to watch it about, like, 47 times. And, like, every time I watched it, I was like, this doesn't hold up. This doesn't make sense. Why are they doing this? Where did this scene come from? And, like, yeah, whoever made that movie did not expect me to watch it 47 times.
They were like, these people will watch this film and once will be enough.
Yeah, but they were wrong. They didn't foresee me coming 20 years later. And being like, why are they doing this? How did they get in this room? So, like, but that's the thing, is, like, you want your book to hold up under scrutiny.
Yeah.
And, like, if I start pulling at a thread, I don't want the whole thing to unravel. I want to just, like, yank the thread out and, like, that's it. You know? And so I think that's the issue that a lot of people have where, you know, I'm gonna bring in a romance book that I ended up DNFing, but not for the reasons that I'm gonna say. So The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. Do you know it?
I know of it.
I've unfortunately DNF'd every one of her books that I've ever started, and, like, I would love to love one of her books, so if you have a recommendation.
Oh, yes. She wrote, oh my god, read. I really liked it. It was, I'm just going to Google her name.
Yeah, I think you did tell me about it, and I was like, oh, I've DNF'd every book I've ever read.
The Dead Romantics. The Dead Romantics. That's the only one of hers that I have read, and I freaking loved it. It will make you weep. It will make you weepy.
As it should. As every book should.
Yes. But back to the 7-year slip.
Yeah, so it has, like, this thing where, like, the apartment is, like, suspended in time, like, something about 7 years, and, like, when you're reading the book, you don't think about it. Like, you just accept it. Yeah. I'm willing to say, like, yeah, that happens. I don't need to ask questions about it. It doesn't matter. But, like, if she then tried to explain it, then it would start to have something I could poke at.
Yeah.
But she doesn't, which is smart. I think she shouldn't explain it. I was annoyed because I immediately knew what I assumed was going to be the twist. And I think it was basically given away on the back cover, in my opinion. And so, like, I was like, if it's not the twist, then I'm fine with it. But it seemed like it was going to be. And then I got irritated for another reason. Because, again, I'm a picky bitch. Sorry. So I think it's that sort of thing. And, like, I don't want to draw in the ire of people, but, like, Fourth Wing. There are a lot of people who have questions, let's say, about the world building. And, like, I'll say Fourth Wing is not for me.
I never even tried it, to be honest.
I also haven't tried it, but the romance, like, I'm so picky.
Well, and we'll get back to Fourth Wing in just a second, but I do want to say that, like you were talking about why people come to books, like, why are you reading this? And I think part of the reason why, like, I have DNF'd most romantasies, and, like, I'm actually shocked that I got through Serpent and Dove, honestly, just because, like, the premise was not for me. Like, I don't like forced anything that is just, like, a personal no for my reading tastes, but I am not there for the sex. So, like, if you're gonna have a romance, like, I need to really be sold on the fact that these people have, like, a genuine connection, and the sex is almost like a narrative device to show to me that, like, this is almost like they have such big emotions for each other that can be expressed in no other way than, like, this sweaty clashing bodies.
Or, like even, like let me try this again. If I am to enjoy an explicit scene, I really need it to be, like, integral to the plot.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna skim the parts. Like, sorry, I know that makes me sound really judgmental. I'm really picky about writing. You should watch Reads with Rachel, and she has all of my thoughts. All of her thoughts are my thoughts about reading things like that. And, like, I want it to be so integral to the plot that, like, if you removed the sex scene, like, there would be a large gap.
That makes sense.
Like, okay, I'm throwing into a curveball here. You know the movie Casablanca?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so in Casablanca, it is during the Hays Code, so they can't show anything explicit, right? Mm-hmm. So there's this scene where Ilsa and Rick they've, like, been reunited, and they were, like, sitting together, and then it fades to black, and then they're, like, sitting awkwardly apart. And, like, that's, if you can do that, I don't want to read it. Like,
yeah.
No judgment.
I can see what you're saying. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Like, and no judgment. I'm in the fan fiction world. I understand. I just don't care. That's the real thing. It's like, I just don't care.
Yeah, I am not, like, a porn without plot person. Like, you've got to have the plot for me to, like, want to care about the porn.
Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
That's just where I'm at as a human being and a reader. But now that we have talked about this, would you like to do our game?
Yes. Okay, so let's do our game, and then we can talk more about it, because we'll have more things to talk about once we have a list of books.
That's true.
All right, so this is the game that I have prepared for Mariah, who does not follow romantasy as I do. So I have given her a list of 9 titles, which I am going to send to her right now. And we will put them on the screen so that you can also play along.
And I'll just go ahead and read them once they come through, just so everybody who's not watching us on YouTube will know the
Smart.
list.
Oh, so some of these you'll know because I gave you freebies. At least I hope you know them. And then I'm going to try not to read. When I read it, I'm going to try really hard not to read the title. Like an idiot. Okay, all right.
I am going to read the list of books quickly for all of our listeners. All right, guys. So we've got Quicksilver by Callie Hart, Silver Elite by Dani Francis, A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen, Powerless by Lauren R. Roberts, From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, I hope that's how you say it. Metalslinger by Rachel Schneider, The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent, A Court of Thorn and Roses by Sarah J. Maas, and Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. So that's what we've got going.
So that is our list of titles, and
Okay.
I am going to read the blurb, which where is the elevator pitch is what I'd like to know. I feel very old asking this, but, like, I could not find elevator pitches. I found one single one.
I feel like elevator pitches is less used in marketing and more used, like, getting an agent or, like, pitching to a publisher or, like, it's less something that fans will have access to.
I need the Twitter pitch, like the tagline. Where are the taglines? So I only found, all that is to say, I found one or two of them that had a tagline.
Okay.
And so instead of using taglines, I copied the summary over and I kind of trimmed them. So
Okay.
those of you familiar with these books may recognize part of it, and you may think to yourself, Amelia, you have deleted important information. And, like, I you know what? That's what a blurb does sometimes. You can't do it. That's my advice to you. Don't put it all in your blurb.
So the game is that you're going to read me the blurb, and then I'm going to guess which of the books from this list.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I'm ready.
You ready for blurb 1?
Yep. Put me in, coach.
Okay. 24-year-old Saris Fane is good at keeping secrets.
Okay.
No one knows about the strange powers she possesses, or the fact that she has been stealing from the Undying Queen's reservoirs for as long as she can remember. But a secret is like a knot. Sooner or later, it is bound to come undone. When Saris comes face to face with Death himself, capitalized Death,
Okay.
she inadvertently reopens a gateway between realms and is transported to a land of ice and snow. The Fae have always been the stuff of myth, of legend, of nightmares. But it turns out they're real, and Saris has landed right in the middle of a centuries-long conflict that might just get her killed.
I'm going to guess From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout.
We didn't really decide how we were going to deal with, like, once you guess, like, what happens if you guess wrong.
You can just say no.
But, like, do you get more than one guess?
I don't know. That's up to you. You
I
are
think
you are the
I think you
god
should
of
get-
this.
I'm the god of this, and I benevolently think you should get 2 guesses.
Okay, so that was
so
clearly not true.
that was not from Blood and Ash.
Was it from A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen?
'Twas not.
No blood in
Which
this.
is like, there is no blood in this. It's like Wilde. I think a lot of these summaries, and I knew this as I think it's interesting. This is an interesting exercise. Like, this started out as a game, but at the end, I think we're gonna have a lot to talk about how, like you can't guess any of these.
Okay, so I am going to guess The Serpent and the Wings of Night.
Nope.
Oh. All right.
Do you want me to give you the correct answer?
Yes.
So that you can
Tell
eliminate
me.
them? Okay, that one was Quicksilver.
Quicksilver by Callie Hart.
Yes. And, like, I
Oh,
think the love interest might be Death himself. I'm not sure. I know, like, I know of this book,
Okay.
but I don't remember anything about it except, like, maybe she lives in a desert. I don't know.
All right, next one.
All right. This one, if you don't get it, I'll be surprised.
Okay, so it's probably going to be Sarah J. Maas or Rebecca Yarros.
I don't know. I can't say.
All right, well, let's do it.
20-year-old Violet Soaringale was supposed to enter the Scribe Quadrant, living a quiet life among books and history. Now the commanding general, also known as her tough-as-Talon's mother, has ordered Violet to join the hundreds of candidates striving to become the elite of Navarre, Dragon Riders.
Okay, yeah, that's Fourth Wing.
That is Fourth Wing.
That's
You are
Fourth
correct.
Wing by Rebecca Yarros. All I know about that book, dragons. That's all I know.
Yeah.
They've got some dragons.
People have described the book as just dragons and dick.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
So there you go. I didn't get
Okay.
to the dick part of the summary, but it's in there.
Yeah, we didn't need it.
No.
We got the dragons.
Okay, the next one is the only one that had a tagline, and I thought it was a really good tagline, so I didn't make a small blurb.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. Freya, a shield maiden blessed by the gods, battles to unite a nation under a power-hungry king, while also fighting her growing desire for his fiery son in this Norse-inspired fantasy romance.
Okay, I'm gonna say From Blood and Ash. Really? Okay, so the reason why I guessed that, maybe I should have done this for the first one, but the reason why From Blood and Ash called to me for that one is because you said fiery, right? And it had to do with, like, battling.
Yeah.
Blood.
I don't know that you can logic your
Fire,
way into
ash.
any of these.
Okay,
quite
well,
honest with you.
I'm just saying. I'm not just, like, randomly guessing. This is, like,
no, I
where
hear
it's
you.
coming from. Okay. Is it Powerless by Lauren R. Roberts?
It is not.
One more. Silver Elite by Dani Francis.
Nope.
Really? Okay, so I chose Powerless and Silver Elite mostly for the, like, the battling part of it. That's kind of what... Alright, give it to me.
It's A Fate Inked in Blood.
Okay. Alright, I guess that makes sense. Because of the bleeding. Sorry.
I guess that no one bled in the summary.
Isn't there like a... Didn't they say there was like a battle happening?
Oh, I guess, yeah, there's a battle.
Yeah.
There's always a battle.
So I'm thinking like battling, bleeding, blood.
That's fair, yeah. Okay, so this one took me forever to trim because, like, every single sentence was absolutely chock full of information, which is, like, good and... It was a lot, is what it was. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Only the extraordinary belong in the kingdom of Ilya, the exceptional, the empowered, the elites. Those born ordinary, capital O, are just that, ordinary. The king decreed that all ordinaries be banished to preserve his elite society, making Peyton Gray a felon. Serving as an ordinary is no simple task. She poses as a psychic in the crowded city, blending in with the elites as best she can. When Peyton unsuspectingly saves one of Ilya's princes, she finds herself thrown into the purging trials. The brutal competition exists to showcase the elite's powers, the very thing Peyton lacks. If the trials and the opponents within them don't kill her, the prince she's fighting feelings for certainly will if he discovers her secret.
Okay, that's got to be Silver Elite by Dani Francis.
No. I thought that you would guess that after. I didn't realize it until I started reading
It said elite so many times.
I know.
Oh my god.
But think about the other titles. This one you might be able to reason out with logic.
Is it Metalslinger?
Those born ordinary are just that, ordinary.
So I'm going to say Powerless.
There you go.
Okay. All right. I got there.
Yeah, you did.
On my third.
I removed, like, a lot of stuff about how, like, elites have powers and ordinaries don't, because I thought that was sort of implied.
Yeah, it was implied, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the one thing she lacks.
Yeah. And, like, also, I just want to say that I don't necessarily think that those didn't belong in the blurb. I was just trimming.
Right.
So, just don't take my trimming these down for the game as advice. Okay, alright. I don't think you're gonna get this one.
Oh, God. I haven't gotten very many so far. That's not true. I'm 50-50 right now.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Are you keeping track? I forgot.
I am.
I'm not keeping track. Okay, good.
I want my brownie points for the ones I do get.
You get them. Alright. Bryn has spent the better part of her life waiting for the chance to attend the annual market hosted by the Kenta, the very same people who exiled the Alaha to live a life over the sea. A rite of passage for all young guards, she's not sure what to expect from it, but breaking a century-long peace treaty certainly isn't on her map. Neither is the encounter with an enemy soldier.
Is that it?
That's it.
Is this one from Blood and Ash?
No.
Because they're talking about soldiers and like, okay, all right.
This one,
well, also, well, wait, is it Metalslinger?
It is Metalslinger.
Okay, all right, because again, the logicking, we are talking about like soldiers and stuff. Metalslinger, swordsman. Okay, that one, I got there. Cool.
Yeah. I don't think that, like, I think, like, you reasoned that from the summary, but from what I know of the book, I don't think, like, any of that actually matters to the metal slinging. I don't think any of that is, like, relevant.
Well.
But, like...
I still win.
Yeah, you do. And that was good. So I watched Carrie Can Read's summary of it, and that's the only reason I know anything about it. But in general, let's move on.
Okay.
Sorry, I have a breathing thing, and it makes it difficult to read aloud. Okay. The adopted human daughter of the Nightborn Vampire King, Araya carved her place in a world designed to kill her. Her only chance to become something more than prey is entering the Kajari. Pardon my pronunciation, everyone. The Kahari? I don't know. A legendary tournament held by the goddess of death herself.
Oh my god, so many death tournaments here.
Everyone loves a death tournament. They love a death goddess. Okay, sorry. To survive, Araya is forced to make an alliance with a mysterious rival, Rain, with an H. Let me spell that for you, because when I say Rain with an H, how do you spell it?
R-H-A-I-N?
That is what I would think too, but no, it's R-A-I-H-N.
Alright. Okay. I'll allow it.
Everything about Rain with an H is dangerous. Yet what terrifies Araya most of all is that she finds herself oddly drawn to him.
Okay, is this The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa?
It is The Serpent and the Wings of Night.
Okay, because we're dealing with vampires, so I was like, if this is not the Wings of Night, I'm gonna...
And I think they have wings. Like, I think in the book, the vampires have wings.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is just a little tangent. I'm a World of Warcraft player, have been for a long time. The one good thing about this one particular expansion from a number of years ago is that, like, you could be a vampire if you wanted to be, and, like, they had wings. They were cool. Like, it was...
That's cool.
It is cool. It's cool to be a vampire. Like,
I'm very bad at playing video games, except Pokemon. So I only play D&D because I'm bad at video games. And my partner tried to play World of Warcraft with me once, and I was like, I'm very bad at it. He was like, no, it'll be fine. And then later on, he discovered I was right. He was wrong. I just get really frustrated. Just being able to move so many directions.
Yeah, it's a lot. And also, just for everybody who's keeping track at home, I have 4 correct guesses.
That's pretty good.
And 2 incorrect.
You're killing it, man.
And of course, you know, I have 3 guesses for each one. But you know what? It still counts.
It still counts.
Okay, we have 3 left.
This one's kind of long.
Okay.
This one had a pretty good summary. Chosen from birth to usher in a new era, Poppy's life has never been her own. The life of the maiden is solitary, never to be touched, never to be looked upon, never to be spoken to, never to experience pleasure. Waiting for the day of her ascension, she would rather be with the guards, fighting back the evil that took her family than preparing to be found worthy by the gods, but the choice has never been hers. The entire kingdom's future rests on Poppy's shoulders, something she's not even quite sure she wants for herself. Because a maiden has a heart, and a soul, and longing. And when Hawk, a golden-eyed guard honor-bound to ensure her ascension, enters her life, destiny and duty become tangled with desire and need.
Okay, this is Silver Elite by Dani Francis. Really? Okay, because I was thinking elite as in, like, she's supposed to be untouchable. Like, silver is kind of like a... when I think silver and gold, I think, like, kind of religious things. Okay, so it's got to be from Blood and Ash by Jennifer.
It is from Blood and Ash.
Armentrout. Okay. All right. I'll allow it. It doesn't make as much sense to me, but...
It's like, I think there are vampires in it, but, like, they're not in the... I think that's like a...
Yeah, I was going to say...
What I just said might be a spoiler, and I'm sorry, I haven't read from Blood and Ash. I know about the honeydew, though. I know about it.
I don't. I don't want to know. I'm afraid.
You don't want to know.
That is a sentence with a threatening aura. I know about the honeydew.
I know about it.
Okay, so we've got 2 more. And these ones should be easy because I know enough of Sarah J. Maas to, like, know enough about it.
Yeah. Also, you just looked it up.
Yeah, but I didn't really read anything about the plot.
Okay, well, I mean, I'm gonna skip this first. Well, I'm gonna flip a coin and see which one I should read to you first, because I feel like I just gave it all away. Yeah. All right, okay, let's go.
Okay.
I picked one.
All right.
When Huntress Farah kills a wolf in the woods, a terrifying creature arrives to demand retribution. Dragged to a treacherous magical land she knows about only from legends, Farah discovers that her captor is not truly a beast, but one of the lethal immortal fairies who once ruled her world. At least, he's not a beast all the time.
Okay, so that's definitely Sarah J. Maas, of Court of
Yes.
Thorns and Roses.
I
Also,
deleted the part that she was 19.
can I say, I did not know that was how you pronounce her name.
I think that's how you do it.
I've been calling her Farah.
Isn't that what I said?
You said Farah.
Nah, I said it badly. But Pharaoh is how I heard it.
Is it Farah?
That's what I say. Like Faye. Right?
Yeah.
That's what that was how I meant to be pronouncing it.
Yeah, it is Farah. Fayruh.
Yeah. That was what I
Okay.
that was what I said. That's what I thought I said.
All right. So the last one has to be Silver Elite. Let's go. Read it to me.
Okay, wait.
We'll see if
Okay.
it makes sense,
All
or
right.
I'll complain about it.
I think it does. Ren has spent her whole life in hiding, honing her psychic abilities and aiding the rebel uprising in small ways. On the continent, being modified means certain death, and Ren is one of the most powerful mods in existence. When one careless mistake places her in the hands of the enemy and she's forced to join their most elite training program, she's finally handed the perfect opportunity to strike a devastating blow from inside their ranks. As the stakes grow ever higher, Ren must prove herself to Silverblock. But that's easier said than done when your commanding officer is the ruthless and infuriatingly irresistible Cross Redden, who doesn't miss anything when it comes to her.
Okay, these naming conventions, cuckoo bananas.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong, but
I don't
like,
know about Cross Redden. Like, I like Cross. I think that's an okay name.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fine with that. But then Redden?
Redden should be a first name.
Yeah, no, I just don't like it. I don't think it should be anything.
I like it. So I do think this one makes sense. We've got the silver in there. Did you say silver black? Is that?
Yeah, I think the silver block is like the elite part of their like training.
Right.
So she's like
yeah.
silver elite in the silver block.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
That one is.
That one surprises me a little bit because reading that blurb, I would say sci-fi.
So interesting that you say that because I was going to say it's like being read as a romantasy in that like it follows the same conventions except it's like a reskinned romantasy because it's not a fantasy. It's dystopian.
Okay, yeah, because when
Allegedly.
I think modders,
Yeah.
like I've been reading a lot of Becky Chambers' work. If you've read Close and Common Orbit, which is a sequel, but anyway, that one has a lot to do with like the modder community and mods within her world building. The first one has it kind of tangentially, but you get it more in, at least. If you think I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. But
I was gonna say I don't know.
but I would definitely say Close and Common Orbit like delves much more into taboos around modding and AI and like all of that.
So my understanding is like they're not machines. Like I don't understand how they're modified. It seems to me to be some sort of birth defect. And more like they have magic powers, but they're psychic, like psychic magic powers.
Interesting.
But I haven't read this book.
Well, and I guess that is an interesting thing when, again, I know we're going to talk about genre a lot, but like, is psychic abilities supernatural or is it science fiction?
I think that psychic abilities is supernatural.
I think you could argue for science fiction depending on how it's used.
Yeah.
Like if we're talking about Professor X from the X-Men, like to me that's more sci-fi.
Well, and like I think like I am not a sci-fi person. There are some sci-fis that I like. Like I watch Stargate. I didn't start watching it by choice. It's my partner's favorite show. So I've now seen much of it by osmosis. Also, Robert Carlyle was in a Stargate, widely panned by Stargate fans.
That's
with good
hilarious.
reason. But he was excellent in it, as he is in everything. But yeah, so I think there are a lot of things like that where depending on how it's used, because I'm going to say something maybe controversial, but I think that the genre is not about the skin that it's in. It's about its themes. So like the thing that I don't like about sci-fi is generally, like, the themes that sci-fi is exploring.
Okay.
Because, like, I would make the argument to you that Star Wars is not a sci-fi. It's a space fantasy.
Yeah, it's a sci fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, like, because it does fantasy themes.
Yeah, and I mean also, like, the Force itself is very soft world-building fantasy-esque.
Yeah.
Instead of, again, you know, that, like, kind of, like, psychic power, right? But also the spirituality aspect of it, like, to me, all of that rings more with fantasy than it does with sci-fi.
Yeah. And, like, I think, like, as with many things, it does depend on the genre it's used, and I don't think, like, even I could say, like, ghosts, and that could apply to a million different genres.
Yeah.
Like, I don't read horror, but I love ghosts. I don't want to be scared by them.
We love a ghost.
But, like, I love a ghost, yeah. Like, I read the Mediator series by Meg Cabot, which I love, and if you haven't read them, you should, because they're really good. But, like, that's the kind of ghosts I like. But, so, yeah, I think this one is interesting in that, like, it does seem to, so, from what I know of it, it's sort of trying to be, like, if the Hunger Games was a romance, except not. Because as far as I know, I don't think there's, like, a tournament. I don't know.
And it is interesting how many friggin' tournaments there are.
People love a tournament. We've talked about this before.
Yes.
Like, the tournaments, they love them. They love the tournaments.
It's fascinating. I guess, I mean, it's an easy way to structure your plot. It's an easy conflict. There's a lot of room for tension, right?
Yeah. Can you hear my neighbors walking upstairs? So sorry.
But, so for everybody keeping score at home, I got 7 correct and 2 incorrect because of Amelia's very kind rule that I could guess multiple times for each blurb. But just, like, looking at our game, why are all of these titles so freaking similar? They're so similar. And, like,
they're so similar.
Some of them don't make any sense. Like, okay, fourth wing makes sense. There are dragons.
That does make sense.
I assume fourth means something within the world building.
They're in, like, the fourth wing of the military. Like, that's their quadrant, I think.
Oh.
Or their unit.
Okay. Makes
quadrant
sense.
Unit.
And, like, very recognizable. Like, if you were like, oh, I read this book, Fourth Wing, I would remember. I'd remember that.
Yeah.
Then we've got From Blood and Ash, The Serpent and the Wings of Night, and A Court of Thorn and Roses, which, like, and A Fate Inked in Blood. Those are all the same thing.
I would say A Court of Thorns and Roses is responsible for all the other titles.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Like,
I mean, it is the impetus of the genre, according to our earlier conversation.
I think it had a lot more effect on this genre and, like, the I don't want to use the word zeitgeist right now because I don't feel like it's correct, but I can't think of another word. Like,
the
on
canon?
the genre as a whole. Yeah, sure, the canon. I think that it had more of an effect on, like, the reading trends right now than any other book that I can think of right now.
I mean, I do think that Quicksilver, Silver Elite, and Metalslinger, all the same. That's all the same thing.
Yeah. And, I mean, I don't think they're... I think, like, the various specifics of their plots are not the same. Like, the Metalslinger...
Yeah.
Is like... But they're all... I mean, I would say they're all enemies to lovers. Like, that's very popular in romantasy.
That's
like,
interesting.
Yeah.
I think people love angry sex.
Yeah. But, like...
And, like, the idea of, like, I don't like you, but I'm so sexually attracted to you that I am, like, forced into submission in a way.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I don't either. But, like, also, again, like... Well, especially I feel like as an asexual person, that is, like, not my jam.
Yeah, I'm like, I simply, like, if I don't like you, I'm simply not attracted to you. It's not,
yeah, like, there
I can't relate. I can't wrap my head around
Well, and there has to be something else for me, like, and going back to just thinking about romance in general, I'm going to bring up Book Lovers by Emily Henry again, because, like, to me, and I don't remember the characters' names, but she, like, there was something there beyond the physical. Like, she was like, yeah, he's hot, but he's a douchebag.
Yeah.
And then, like, she had fun just messing with him. And, like, that opened the door. Like, seeing his response was not what she anticipated it being. That was the quirk that she was like, okay, maybe there's something here that and, like, even if that wasn't consciously what the character was doing, I was like, okay, I can follow this with you because I see why there's a clear shift beyond, you're so hot, I can't stay away from your peen. Like... Oh no, I've killed her. But you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, like, I honestly, Book Lovers is my least favorite. Not my least favorite. It's my second least favorite, Emily Henry. That is not to say that I didn't like it. Obviously, I loved it because I think everything she writes is very good. But I don't remember the specifics as much because, like, I imprinted on Beach Read due to the fact that I have an MFA and they had... Did they even have an MFA? I don't know, but I felt it in my bones when I was reading it. Yeah. I was like, I relate to this too hard and I don't like it. Right. But I do like it.
But yeah, I don't know. I think, and maybe maybe you, listeners, people listening to us gab, you can help me. Because, like, what I am looking for in a romantasy, and tell me, does it exist? Is, like, I want true connection outside of, like, we're pitted against each other, and I think you're so hot.
So wait, let me say some things about, like, you're not going to be surprised when I start talking. Okay. Let's talk about Beauty and the Beast for a moment. Oh. So, like, we can talk about beasts and, like, monster boyfriends at any other time, but, like, that's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about...
Oh, we're going to talk about romantasy and not monster fucking?
Yeah, actually, there's not a lot of monster fucking in the romantasies, actually.
Really?
That's, like, its own genre.
That is, like, my perception based off of, like, what comes across my feed.
I can't think of any... I mean, I don't think A Court of Thorns and Roses counts because I don't think they're ever in beast form. Like, there's a lot of, like, fantasy creatures, but they're, like, humanoid. They're not, you know, they're like Rumpelstiltskin versus the Beast in the animated film. That's a reference to Once Upon a Time, a show you should not watch. But I am going to talk about it because, like, in Beauty and the Beast, the most important thing that happens between them is, like, Belle does not come around to the Beast in any iteration until he shows her kindness. And so, like, it's not... They start out as enemies, obviously, because she's, like, his prisoner. But it isn't until he starts being kind to her that she opens herself up to being like, oh, maybe I can see the beauty in the monstrous. Because he shows it to her. He like, opens himself up to being kind and vulnerable. And, like, that's the thing for me that all of these enemies to lovers don't do. Is, like, they're never nice to each other.
Yeah.
And I'm like... And this could be another conversation that we could probably have for, like, an hour and a half about, like, what is a fantasy and, like, what is a romantic fantasy in a book? Like, I'm not articulating well, but, like, what is a reader looking for when they're, like, fantasizing by reading a book?
Okay. I see what you mean.
Like, yeah, I'm not putting myself in the shoes of the main character, but, like, ultimately I want it to be a book that I like.
Yeah.
I want it to be something that I feel interested in, and, like, I don't want anyone to be mean to me, like.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't like that.
And going back to Serpent and Dove, I think part of what made me uncomfortable as a reader about but I know people like it for this reason, which is why, like, and this is something that you guys will probably hear us mention all of the time, like, you can have a book that is good that we will not like because, like, it's just not for us.
Exactly.
Right? So, like, I have very specific ideas for what makes a good or a bad book, and we'll talk about that in a later episode, most likely. But for me, it was the power imbalance that made the romance not believable for me. Because, like, at one point in the book, if I'm remembering correctly, she was, like, locked in a room and could only interact with him. And that was part of their, like, they were trying to, like, brainwash her and, like, convert her so that they could, like, oh, look, we, like, whatever the political situation was that they couldn't just outright kill her, they were like, okay, well, then you have to be on our side. And, like, to me, like, once you have kind of that, like, prisoner aspect. And, like, we can argue this with Beauty and the Beast, too, right? But the thing is, like, then the Beast, like, let her go.
He did let her go.
And there was only romance after that.
That's true.
When she came back.
Yeah.
In this book, they were romantic and everything, and, like, she fell in love with him, and they had, like, passionate rooftop sex and, like, all this stuff. Like,
wasn't he really mean to her, like, the whole time?
Yeah. Because he was so attracted to her, he couldn't help but be nasty to her. How dare she stir these feelings within him?
Into the trash. Put him in the trash.
And that's, like, I was very uncomfortable. It wasn't for me, but I know people like a power imbalance.
Yeah.
Like, those dynamics, I feel like romantasy is probably pretty ripe to explore power in that way.
And I think, like, I don't hate a power imbalance. Like, obviously, in Beauty and the Beast, like, he's a literal beast. He could rip her apart, like, at any moment. He's, like, 4 times her size.
Right.
So, like, I'm not opposed to a power imbalance. I just, like, also need to believe it. Like,
yeah, and that's, like, I don't know, like, that was my issue with Serpent and Dove. And again, maybe if it were an adult novel and not a YA, we would have had more time to explore, like, and grow that relationship. But of course, YA tends to be much more, like, bite-sized, I would argue, than, like, an adult fantasy.
And I don't think that, like, the bite size is probably the problem. Because, like, there are a lot of YA books that really do explore deeply, like, a character. And I think, like, that's the thing is, like, a lot of writers, like, know a character very well in their head. But, like, when you're writing it down, they feel like you understand why they're doing things because you wrote them, you made them out of your brain. But, like, if the reader is not into that, like, if they're not in your brain and it's not on the page, then they're just, they can only read what's on the page.
Yeah.
And so, like, there are a lot of readers who are willing to sort of fill in those gaps. And then there are a lot of readers who are not willing to fill in those gaps. Like, I don't fill in gaps.
I do, like, I just had a spark in my brain. I have to talk about this. Okay, so it is not a romantasy, but in 6 of Crows by Leigh Bardugo, there is a romance that begins with a power imbalance. Kind of a very similar situation. His, like, upbringing, he's kind of like a soldier or whatever. Their religion, like, has them hunting down these people who, like, they're not witches, but for the purpose of this conversation, let's call them witches. So he catches her, and they are, like swept away, and now they're isolated and in the wilderness. So their whole backstory is, like, they had to get to survival. He's, like, arresting her, quote unquote, right? And she's like, you're an idiot, like, let me go, because, like, working with me is the only way you're going to survive. And he has that whole struggle of, like, how dare she be so hot? And, like, also, she is fat. And he is so down bad for her, and I love that about this series. I love that. Because it was never about her size or her weight or anything. He was just, like, so ravenous for her.
You know you can't say the word ravenous to me. Yeah. Immediately falling out my ears.
Yeah, he did not want to eat her. But maybe metaphorically. Yeah. It's
not metaphorical in the movie Ravenous.
But, like, his like, he was just so, he was a gentle person who was forced to be a violent person. And so their dynamic...
That gets me in the brain.
Yes. Their dynamic very quickly became his struggle between that kind of, like, violent, like, you're the enemy persona, and then, like, the gentle, like, he just wanted to love her and take care of her. And he would express that to her. And then, like, they had their own issues, okay, everybody? But, like, they were meant to be together. So, again, we're talking about, like, ways that these dynamics, these kind of tropes and character archetypes can work well. And I think that, for me, is an example of that kind of, like, power imbalance working well.
Well, and that's why that's just, like, going back to how I said I can't pick a genre that I do or don't like, except I don't really like sci-fi.
Well, I would argue, like, okay, so I have gone on a sci-fi journey. Like, I took stock of my reading. I always keep track of the books I read. I have since 2020. And I took, like, a look at the genres that I tend to read. And I tend to watch a lot of sci-fi on TV and not read a lot of sci-fi books. And I was under the impression that I didn't like sci-fi. So I was like, you know what? 2025 is the year that I'm going to explore the sci-fi genre. Because, like, I love world building. Like, that's part of my career over at Writer's Digest, is literally just talking about world building. So I was like, you know, maybe I just haven't read the correct sci-fi for me, and that has proven to be the case. So I have read a ton of sci-fi this year already, and, like, I am finding books that, like, really do speak to me in a lot of ways.
I'm sure there is a sci-fi for me out there, but, like, I would need probably you to read it and then tell me about it.
Yeah.
So if there's a sci-fi for people who don't love sci-fi, because I don't like the themes of, like, this is gonna make me sound regressive. I don't like the themes of progress and innovation.
No, I understand.
But, like, I don't like. I like space. Space is cool. I watched Cowboy Bebop.
Oh yeah.
But, like, I like a bit of whimsy. That's why I like a space opera.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is, but, you know.
When we get to our sci-fi episode at some point in the future, because we're gonna have one, obviously now.
We'll have to. Yeah.
I will take you on a book journey. How about that?
Please do. Yeah. Please do take me on a book journey. What was I saying? I was saying something about like, they're much like I won't tell a person, like, how to write, even when they ask me to, or, like, what they can and can't do. Like, I won't say I don't like a trope, because there's almost always a situation in which I will like that trope.
Is there a trope that I don't love?
I don't love enemies to lovers, but that's because, well, I have not found the enemies to lovers that, like, speaks to me. Maybe I should read Cruel Prince, but, like, I don't like people being mean to each other.
So what I liked about the Cruel Prince and them being mean to each other is that, like, so
they were both really mean.
Yeah, like, like their
their
dynamic was, he was like, you are a bug beneath my shoe, and, like, I am going to ruin you, and she was like, bet.
I mean,
and then she did it better. That. You know what I mean? Well, and that's what made him be like.
See, I could get behind that, but, like, the other enemies to lovers, like, I keep thinking of The Spanish Love Deception.
I don't think I read that one.
I don't think it's for you or for me.
Ooh, okay. Duly noted.
It's just a rom-com. It was very popular. It's very polarizing, so some people are, like, obsessed with it, and some people are like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever fucking read. And basically, like, they're enemies to lovers, but it's like he said something mean to her once, and, like, then forever she was like, well, I hate him.
Okay, well, I want you to read The Pairing by Casey McQuiston.
Okay.
I think, and then we'll come back to the discussion and we'll discuss whether or not that should be enemies to lovers.
Okay, because I also don't love second chance romance, but then, again, Emily Henry does it. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and that's, it. I believe it can be done well.
Yeah.
And that is one instance that I was like, because I'm second chance romance is like
it depends. It's like one of those things where I'm like, it's the same thing about, like, miscommunication, where I'm like, if I believe that they should have broken up the first time, then like, you really have to work hard to make me believe that they should be getting back together.
The miscommunication should be, I believe that Book Lovers has a miscommunication trope.
Well, and so does Happy Place, and, like, I didn't even notice.
Oh, yeah.
Someone after was like, it's the miscommunication trope, and I was like...
Dun, dun, dun.
I was like, they did miscommunicate the whole time. That's what they've been doing.
Yeah. That's so true.
But, like, so it's really, you have to believe that the characters would do that. Like, that's what I always think about when I'm writing, is, like, I don't need the reader to not know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
I need them to believe that the character doesn't know what's going on.
Okay, yeah, I understand that.
And, like, I know there are a lot of people who are like, if I could guess what's happening next, then, like, I don't want to read it. Which, I'm not that reader. If I can guess what's happening next, I don't care. As long as I've guessed it, and it's because it makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, listeners, help me. Give me suggestions.
Me too.
Yeah. You've heard us rant about what we like and what we don't like, so it would be great if you all could give us some suggestions in the comments and just let us know.
I like Beauty and the Beast, but I don't trust anyone with it except Naomi Novik.
Ooh.
So if you can give me someone who I can trust like Naomi Novik, that's what I want.
All right. I don't know what I want. Help me. But
well,
yeah. Was there anything else that you wanted to talk about today?
I don't know. Did we get through everything? Have we talked about? Do you feel like you know the romantasy genre? I feel like I don't think we discussed really like the fact that people call things romantasy when the world building or the characterization or the stakes are bad or they don't hold up. Let's say that. Let's say they don't hold up, which I think is unfair to the genre because I think romantasy. I think first of all, you wouldn't call a romance novel. You wouldn't call something not a romance novel. I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but like, I don't think it's fair to say that a hallmark of romantasy is that it's not good.
I think that's true. I think it's unfair to say that any genre is like exactly. That you should lump anything in just because you don't like it. Like, yeah. Maybe romantasy is just not for you.
Well, and I want romantasy to be for me. And like, I think I did this as well, as I was giving you, like, is this a romantasy, is this not a romantasy? Like, why is A Court of Thorns and Roses not a romantasy? And I said, because it has very good world building. But, like, that's not fair. Because the romance is such a big focus.
Yeah.
And, like, all of the romantasies have this sort of element where they're trying to tie in a big overarching plot with the romance as well. And I think, again, I haven't read A Court of Thorns and Roses.
Am I having a breakthrough moment right now?
Maybe.
Am I having a spark? So, in a romantasy, tell me if I'm wrong. In a romantasy, the larger plot moves the romance forward.
I think it should.
Okay.
I think, yeah. Yeah. Or even vice versa. I think they should be inextricably linked.
Okay.
Which is not to say, like, I think your romance should always be inextricably linked to your plot. I think every plot element you have should be inextricably linked to all the other ones. But, like, I think, your romance plot is the driving action, and, like, your climactic romance should also be, like, with the plot.
Okay.
So I think the answer is yes.
So to me, I know Hunger Games is not a romantasy, but I think it does have the hallmark of some of these kind of death tournament. Again, maybe it was the first death tournament.
Yes, I think a lot of people are like, they want the Hunger Games, but without the political messaging.
And I think, like, for me, Katniss and Peeta fell in love, and, like, that romance was, like, maintained in spite of what was going on in the plot. Which is what made it so powerful to me.
Yeah, and I think that's an important aspect of the Hunger Games.
Right.
And I think that, like, that could also be something in a romantasy.
Oh,
whereas,
interesting.
Like, I think the main thing is, like, the focus has to be the romance. And, like, even in a romance novel, like, Emily Henry's books include more things than just romance.
Yeah.
And so I think, like, in a fantasy novel, it's like, so, like, imagine Beach Read, my favorite Emily Henry novel, and they're, like, in their, what is it, are they neighbors? I don't even remember.
Well,
imagine they're neighbors, but, like, in
he lives there full time, and she is there.
Oh yeah.
For a deadline. She's trying to meet a deadline.
That sounds right to me. I have it, like, right behind me. I should reread it.
And that's how they, like, the kind of forced proximity happened.
Yeah. So I think that, like a romantasy would be like Beach Read. Like, all of those things are true, but, like, they're happening, I'm going to say it again, in Middle-earth.
Okay.
And, like, around them, the hobbits are, like, going, to Mordor, I say, like a person who has read Lord of the Rings. But yeah, and I think there's also this sort of strange phenomenon that baffles me, I'll say, that the romantasies have to have sequels. Like, they're always the first in a series.
I think that's a marketing thing.
And I don't like it. I don't like that, because I think a lot of the times, I listen to all these plots, and I'm like, well, that plot is done. Like, the romance is done. Why are we still...
I think it is a marketing thing, the way that books to movies, they have started breaking up books over several movies to make money.
Yeah, and I think that people should be, like... So one of the things about Fourth Wing is that I believe she originally intended it to be a trilogy.
Oh, interesting.
But now she's had to spread her 3 books over 5 books. And, like, that's not something, like, as an editor, I'm never like, you should make this more books. just to have more space.
Yeah.
We're always trying to be like, how can you be more concise?
Yeah.
And like, obviously sometimes it should be more books. Sometimes I'm like, this book should have 100 more pages.
Yeah.
Like, I think
I have read a book in the fantasy space in particular as a freelance editor, and I read it and I was like, actually, the first book ends here and this is the start of your next book.
I did that. When we were talking about when you were writing, we've done that for you.
Yeah.
And like, I just think I don't like this trend of being like, well, you should get X amount of books out of this series. And I'm sure it's not new. But like, especially when they're expected to have, like, the romance happens in book 1. But like, we'll have an episode about about romance writing.
Oh, absolutely.
So I won't go into it. But like, the romance happens in book 1, and then like, then what?
Question mark.
Question mark. Yeah. So I think that's something that I'm not a fan of, that they need to be multiple books. Like, I read Divine Rivals, which again I didn't like. One of the things I didn't like about it was I felt like the book thought I was dumb. And I know I started this by saying I'm really dumb, but like, I'm not that dumb.
I'm dumb, but not that dumb.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't need you to telegraph everything to me. Like, people would walk up to each other in Divine Rivals and be like, hello, I'm going to tell you this story now. And then, like, it would become relevant on the next page. And I was like, okay, like, I get it.
Yeah.
You can just say it. But, like, Divine Rivals had a sequel, and, like, I'm not reading it.
Yeah.
Like, and not just because I didn't enjoy it, but because, like, the thing I was reading for was done.
Yeah.
And, like, yeah, it ended on kind of a cliffhanger, I guess. But, like, I don't care. And, like, I wasn't interested enough, especially because once they got together, like, it wasn't fun anymore. Like, would I read a sequel to Beach Read? Yeah, I would. Because the characters were still fun once they got together.
Right.
So, that's... I think actually, now I'm done talking about romantasy. I think we've covered it all now.
Yay! We did it!
We did it! Yay! So this is the end of our... I mean, it's technically our second episode.
Yes.
Because we went way longer on the first one than I thought. But thanks for joining us. We can't wait to see you back for next week's episode, where we are going to talk about comfort characters and media. So... don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave an emoji in the comments. If you have not commented any of the other questions we asked, and I can't remember what they were, tell us stuff and recommend romantasy books.
Yes, please.
We want to read them.